This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Mike Pence is making the rounds right now, selling his book, just like so many dishonorable journalists who have held back on critical details and reporting in order that they put it in their book and then sell their book. Mike Pence is doing the same thing. Mike Pence, I have my order of clips here. He did a town hall with CNN. He also did an interview. And I have my clips ordered where I'm going to poke fun at him for forgetting a lady's name, which happens. And I'm going to make a joke about, I'm just going to spoil it. I'm making a joke about how he short circuits like a robot when he calls her Barbara and her name's Andrea, I believe. And rather than just say, oh, sorry about that. Sorry, Andrea. He's like, oh, it's nice to see you here. And he short circuits. But instead, I'm going to play the third clip first. And that is him saying that Congress has no right to his testimony. Someone who lived through the moment of the insurrection with a crowd chanting, "Hang Mike Pence." They have no right to hear what he has to say and what he experienced on that day and what went on in the White House, not a political or the duties of the operation of the executive branch, but political activities. They have no right to know what he knows. This is arrogance. This is hubris on the part of Mike Pence, who acts like, who feigns a love and duty to the United States of America. And then when it comes time to actually pay the bill, he can't do it. Go read my book if you'd like to know. Pay for my book, then you can learn all the details that I wrote about. With his squinty-eyed, fake earnestness. It's all very, very gross. Here is that third clip with him saying Congress has no right to his testimony.
Do you intend to ever sit and answer questions written in person for the January 6th committee? Do you believe, though, that the public deserves that? Is this interview it? Is this book it? Or will you answer questions about that day before Congress?
Well, I shared my heart and I shared my story in this book, and we'll continue to speak openly about it, I expect, to some degree for the rest of my life. But from the time that January 6th was formed, and every member was appointed by the Democrat Speaker of the House, I was concerned.
But your chief of staff spoke to them, Mark Short, your legal counsel, Greg Jacobs, testified.
I'll get to that. But
you don't want to engage with them at all?
No, I served for 12 years in the Congress. It's inconceivable to me that one party would appoint every member of a committee in Congress. That's antithetical to the whole idea of the committee system. Mm-hmm. That being said, I never stood in the way of senior members of my team cooperating with the committee and testifying. But Congress has no right to my testimony. We have a separation of powers under the Constitution of the United States. And I believe it would establish a terrible precedent for the Congress to summon a Vice President of the United States to speak about deliberations that took place at the White House.
So you're closing the door on that entirely?
I'm closing the door on that. But I must say again, that the partisan nature of the January 6th committee has been a disappointment to me. It seemed to me in the beginning there was an opportunity to examine every aspect of what happened on January 6th, and to do so more in the spirit of the 9/11 Commission, nonpartisan, non-political, and that was an opportunity lost.
Two things here. One, it wasn't from the beginning that Nancy Pelosi was going to pick every member. They allowed Republicans to pick members, and they chose members that would be material witnesses for the very committee they wanted to serve on. That is like picking a jury member for a trial. It's a loose metaphor here, but picking a jury member who's also going to be a witness. That's not how it works, Mike Pence, and you know it. And secondly, Quit feigning like you care about the country, about the well-being of the people who work there, when you're not even concerned about the welfare of your family or yourself. As they screamed and chanted, "Hang Mike Pence," with a hangman's gallows but 1,000 feet away, not even 1,000 feet away from where you stood. It's gross. And then last night, there was a town hall from Mike Pence on CNN. And first, we'll get to the clip where he gets the lady's name wrong, which happens. Like, I've been around countless politicians, many of them very good at remembering names, some of them not as good. I myself am not great at remembering names after they're just told to me. I don't know what it is, but I work hard at it. Here's Mike Pence doing that, and then we're going to get something more substantive where he's trying to convince you he's human like everybody else, even though robot Mike Pence. Here's this first clip, misremembering the name.
Shouldn't this freedom based on Roe also continue?
Barbara, thank you. I represented Madison County in Congress for many years. So
There's Andrea.
it's nice to see you. You know, when I think about...
You see, Mike Pence is such a programmed robot that he forgot, it threw him. In a rare moment, you get to witness Mike Pence, well, what just happened? Oh, I got to get back on track. Get back to the talk track. Get back to my talking points. Because he doesn't act naturally. He doesn't think on the fly. He has programmatic language that has been uploaded into his brain to repeat. I'm not faulting him for forgetting a lady's name. It happens. You're going to see all kinds of people out there today. I can't believe he did that. It happens. It's the other, more deeper issue that I have a problem with. And that leads us to this last clip, this roughly 2-minute clip of Jake Tapper pressing him on what took place on the day of the insurrection. And instead of dealing with consequences for those who committed the crimes, who attempted to overthrow violently the United States government by way of overturning a free and fair election, he leans into his faith, of course, uses his faith as a crutch that he is obligated to forgive. And that is fine. But forgiveness for a transgression has nothing to do with whether or not there should be legal consequences. If someone murders someone in your family, you can forgive them while still holding to a desire for them to have legal consequences, repercussions for their actions. And instead, he's all in on the forgiveness part of it, completely ignoring the other element. Here's this clip. We'll talk about it on the other side.
This is video of the Secret Service trying to get you and your wife Karen and your daughter Charlotte to safety. As rioters came within 40 feet of you, we found out later, your family's lives were at risk. Not just yours, although that would be tragic, but your wife's and your daughter's. And I was worried for you that day, sir, covering this. I was worried for your wife. I was worried for your daughter. I'm relieved that nobody was harmed. If I were you, I would still be livid with Donald Trump. I would be so furious. And I know you're a measured man. But are you still angry?
Well, I must tell you, the president's words and tweet that day were reckless. They endangered my family and all the people at the Capitol. And I was angry. But you know, my Christian faith tells me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And in the Christian faith, forgiveness is not optional. We literally pray in the Lord's Prayer to forgive those who trespass against us. And in the days that followed, when the president asked to meet with me after he'd made the right statements to the country, he'd committed to a peaceful transfer of power, he'd condemned the people that rioted, at the Capitol, we met, we sat down, and I prayed for God's grace to meet that moment in that spirit, and it wasn't easy. And to be honest with you, I'm as human as the next guy, and I still pray for the president, and I pray for the grace to forgive him and all those responsible for that tragic day. But I truly do believe that we live in a time when the American people ought to be searching our hearts and having more grace toward one another. I mean, it seems like our country is more divided now than ever before. Even broadcast networks seem to be perceived to be divided along partisan lines, which is why I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on CNN today.
Even broadcast networks seem to be perceived to be divided along ideological lines. People perceive them to be. It's not a fact. I can't speak to whether it's true, but people they perceive it to be. Come on, piss off, Mike Pence. And I wonder who could it be that has divided us in our country more than we have ever been before? Who could it be? Oh, what a quandary. What a mystery, Mike Pence. Could it be the guy that you were a servile dog lapping at the boots of for 4 years? Could it be Donald Trump? Your golden god, your dear leader, Mike Pence? And we'll just dispense with the I'm slow to speak. It's part of my Christian faith that I'm slow to speak in a fake, earnest manner that makes you think I really do care about the country. I'm as human as the next guy. It's all a bit much. So don't be fooled by this rehabilitation tour that Mike Pence is currently on in an effort to sell his book to make his millions. He is but a liar and a grifter and a charlatan, just like every other Republican who's public facing. Not to mention the fact that he went out there while he talks about the democracy and what took place on the insurrection, the day of the insurrection. He campaigned for election deniers like Blake Masters in Arizona. It strains credulity, just like every other word that has ever come out of this religious extremist bigot's mouth. Gross. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can absolutely email me the old-fashioned way, daily@dollemore.com. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Follow me on social media. I'm at Twitter, @Dollemore, Instagram, @Dollemore, and TikTok, @Dollemore. And if you appreciate what I do, if I bring you value to your day or to your week or to your month or to your year, we're really just stretching out the value here. Consider supporting my work. Become a channel member. Click the join button below. See what's involved. For $1.99 a month, you can become a channel member. Or you can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. You can also, for $2 a month, become a patron over there. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.